Today's learning goal is I can write equivalent expressions. We're going to look at the price of a pair of jeans has been reduced by 40%. We're going to let P represent the original price. The expression P minus 0.4P and 0.6P represent the sale price of the jeans. So these two expressions are equivalent to each other. The first way that we're showing it, the expression P minus 0.4P, means that 40% was subtracted from the original price. Remember, the original price was P, and we subtracted, here's our P right here, we're subtracting 40%. And remember, to write 40% as a decimal, we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So it was here, we moved it once, 2. So now it became 0.4P because we're taking 40% off the price of the jeans. Then we're going to look at the second expression. The second expression is 0.6P. That also means that 40% was taken off the original price. And remember, I think I've told us this in class, that if you're getting 40% off the price, that means you are paying 60%. So instead of doing the first expression like it is up there, 2 steps, I kind of do it almost in 1 step. If I'm getting 40% off, I'm paying 60% of, which means multiply the original price, which is P. If we look at the bar that they drew here to help represent what's going on, you can see that the price of the pants is the entire bar. And here is the part that you are saving, which means the rest, this is what you are paying. That's representing it using a bar. And now we have Antoine, who's moving into a new house. His new room will be 50% larger than his old room. So his new room will be 50% larger than his old room. What equivalent expressions can you use to represent the size of Antoine's new room? Number 1, we're going to let R represent the size of Antoine's old room. What expression represents how much larger his new room is than his old room? Okay, so again, if R is his new room, his room is getting bigger, so we're going to be adding to his new room, and we're going to be adding 50%. So how do we write 50% as a decimal? 0.50 or 0.5. I'm not going to put the extra 0 in it. You don't need it after the decimal point. Okay, and then it's 50% larger than his old room, which was R, so we're going to put an R there. That's one way to write the expression. Next it says to draw a bar diagram to represent Antoine's new room. So first I'm going to think about, when I make this, I'm going to think about, let's see, how long do we want to make? Here, let's say this is his old room. And now we want to add 50% of this. Well, I'm thinking about 50% of this would be about right here. I'm a little off in my 50%. Close enough. If I'm going to add 50% to it, let's say I add about that much, which should be about there. So that would show me this is his old room, and this is the 50% that we're adding on to it. And I labeled it R and 0.5R. And again, if I put them together, put a little plus sign here, notice I get the expression that I just wrote above. Now it says, what additional expression represents the size of Antoine's new room? How can you write an equivalent expression? Well, I know that, oh, I'm writing on the paper. I know that I have an R and I'm adding 50%. So his room is going to stay the 100% of its size plus 50%. So basically his room is increasing by 150%. How do I write that as a decimal? 1.5 times R. Also, you can look at the previous example up here. Notice that R plus 0.5R. There is 1R right here. You could put a 1 here. What is 1R plus 0.5R? It's 1.5R. So you can also combine like terms in the previous expression to get this. And finally it says on the back. I'm going to do it right here because I can't flip this over. So, for her summer vacation, Emily reduced the weight of her luggage by 30% from its weight S on her winter vacation. Okay, we have to reduce the weight on our luggage because airlines only want them up to a certain weight. So she's reducing hers by 30%. So if her luggage weighs S and she reduces it by 30%, we can say S minus 30% written as a decimal is 0.3 times S. We can also say if she is reducing it by 30%, what percent will it be? Well, 100% minus 30% is 70%. So we could also write this as, I'm going to put it over here, 70%, which is 0.7S. Notice, again, if you put a 1 in front of, I just put it in the wrong place, not here. If you put a 1 in front of this S over here, and then you combine like terms, 1 minus 0.3 is going to give us 0.7S. So you can do it the way I said, or you can do it by combining like terms. Either way, you're going to get this expression, or you're going to get this expression. And I don't usually keep the 1 in front of the S. Now you're going to try some problems on Pearson, lesson 4-8. Good luck.